Okay, so today I'm going to try to put a Maxxair fan in my ceiling up here, right around in this area here, and we'll see how that works out for us. So first I'm going to drill a pilot up in my roof and put a camera up there to see how that works. So I think this is the area that we want to put it in, so here we go. Yeah, no turning back now. So now we're going to put a camera up there and see what goes on with it. So let me get the camera ready. Okay, so I'm going to use this camera here. And these are pretty inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon for, 30 bucks or so. But this should let me view what's up inside of that hole. Looks like I got some bubble wrap insulation up in there. Let's just turn the head here and see what's going on up in there. Okay, I see pink insulation. What else do I see up in there? So I don't know if you can see in there, but it allows me to see what's up in there. Roof choices and whatnot. So I think I'm okay here. Very difficult to tell exactly. So I wonder. Let's see if I can in here. Well, I think this is where we're going to try out to be, so we'll check that out. So I need to cut a 14 by 14 or so square to put the fan up inside there, and then when I get in there I'll mark the roof on the top to do the roof and make that cut in there, but stay tuned. Okay, wish me luck. I'm gonna make a bigger hole and go for the gusto, I guess. That's about the center of that. The way that's doing that. Okay, well, now we got a big hole. All right, well, we're in for it now. Okay, so as you can see, we did a bigger hole. I measured to where I feel a wood brace, which is actually 14. I put a square in there, 14. So now I'm going to take the oscillating saw and cut this out, and hopefully we're right. Okay, well, at this point we have our 14 by 14 hole cut through the bottom here. So that's the roof. I'll cut this little bubble wrap insulation out. And I'm also going to have to try to figure out where I'm pulling power from. So. All right, well, hopefully there's some power cables up here somewhere. Here's something. Oh. Ah, alright, power cables. Imagine hot and ground, but I don't know what that is. Like a phone jack. I'm not sure what that is, but I believe that would be my power wires. I'll get meters and test them. Okay, so up here on the top of the trailer, I've marked my 14 square out there. I do a slice down the lines to cut the EDM roof material up. Okay, and then we're going to peel up the roof here to expose the plywood. Okay, and then what I had done down there was drilled 4 holes on those corners, so now I can see where that panel is going to be. And I'm going to cut this panel out, and then the vent will drop down inside here. So let's move on to the next spot. Okay, so at this point we have a skylight. So now to get on to doing the fan, because it's already late in the afternoon and I'd like to get it closed up there. So here we go. Okay, up on the roof here, I've already wiped down the edges there. And on these particular models, these fasteners go to the sides. So I've already marked this front and back. So this should theoretically drop right down in there like that. So, as you can see, I've got the putty on the bottom already for sealing it. As close as we can, eyeballing it here. Looks good. So, very important when doing these is that you don't over tighten it. So we're going to go in there lightly with the screws. As soon as I find those, down here somewhere, here we go. Screws to put those down. So they give you wire connectors and then 4 painted screws, which will actually be on the interior side. So we don't need any of that product. So one thing you do have to be careful is don't drop any screws, because they only give you the exact amount of screws. So with that being said, let's start putting this down here. I do not like carrying all these screws in my hand, because if I drop one, I'm screwed. Screwed. Over here. Do the 4 corners first. At all. Oh, see, don't drop them. That way all 4 corners are in first. And then we'll go around the perimeter. And I don't like dropping screws. I'm going to go back around these screws afterwards. I just don't want to go too much on here. So I've got the clutch on this at 2, just to make sure. Hopefully we're getting nice meaty bites on all of these. Oh, hear the clutch. I know I got the clutch in good. I'm pretty safe with that. You can see that the putty's starting to squish out a little bit as we go around. Get away with number 3, but it's better safe than sorry, you know what I mean? Okay, and as you can see, the putty's starting to squeeze out, which means we got a nice good connection there. So I'm pretty happy with that right there. So for some reason I have 4 extra screws, but it might be for these. Yeah, maybe for these to hold down. So I'm going to put those back in with the bag because I'm not ready for that yet. Okay, stay tuned. So there we have it. Okay, back up on the roof again. So, like I said, I'm going to take a regular screwdriver and just check these. You don't want to over tighten them because you will be putting sealant over all this. The screws, the top and the sidings. So it actually says once you put this on to do it, but self-leveling die core is very sticky for at least 24 hours. So what I'm going to do is get this all snugged down, put it in, and once I verified everything's ready, then I will do the die core. So, okay, so it says to fully open the vent manually. That feels like it's fully open. And just to be sure of it, I'll take this wiring out a little bit here. That way, get the wiring down in there. So this is very detail oriented. The back of the vent, when it lifts open, is towards the back of the vehicle, and it has to go into these screws, so you got to make sure you're paying attention to that. So I had already macked up like I showed you, so now we can feed these down in here like that. Hopefully it goes down in there. Side's on. This side is not on. Okay, like that. Okay, so that goes in there. This is where those other 4 screws are from. That's why I brought a screwdriver up. So, after these 4. The white ones are for inside for the panel, trim panel. Put that away. And I don't need the electrical connector. Put that in there. Okay. So this way I can get in there with my caulking and go around it and not have to worry about getting all smudged up while doing this. We all know that nothing is a direct science in this stuff. Where's it now? Oh, lost my screw. Where's the hole? There it is. So that takes a little effort to get that down there far enough. One. Do not like pushing down on that vent. Not really much you can grab. To secure it. And that's why you don't want that. That does not feel right. But I'll have to check it from the inside. So, like I said, I'll go back around and put my die core on here to seal after that. But now, it should be time to go back inside and check that stuff. So, here. And we'll meet you inside. Okay, so we're inside doing the wiring. I already had my wire from the trailer. I'm using some Wagos in here because it's only 12 volt power. Wouldn't suggest it for, you know, AC 120, but these are fine for the thing. So the white is ground, kind of like household electrical. White is neutral, green is ground, and any color of wire, any wire of color is positive. And this one actually is black, and it's got the positive label. So we'll bring that into our color, which is gray, and we'll put that in there. And, oh, look at that, we got power. So it automatically closes the vent. So we're good there. Okay, so it's time to button this up. My battery's going right on my phone, so I like to put a little piece of electrical tape. I use color because black is too sticky when you try to take it off, just to keep these Wagos from ever popping open. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap this wire up and chuck it back up here underneath the air duct venting racetrack, and then we'll put the trim piece on, and we'll see how much we need to cut, if any, and then make the adjustments for that and finish it out. So this should just go right up inside the hole here. Huh, look at that! We don't even have to make any cuts. Gotta love it. So let's say we just go just like that. Lots of bonking on the head here, now watch. So this one is where we use those 4 white screws. So the 4 white screws out here. And find my drill, white screws. Two. Number 3. I think I got a clutch on there, huh? And the 4th one. Check them all. There we go. And that is that. Hit the power. And goes up. And it works. It feels like it's sucking out. Exhausting. So we'll call that a job. And I'll figure out how to play with the remote later. So, I don't always post a lot of content, but if you like this kind of stuff, give me a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. It's up to you. Until then, adventures with the loves. Peace.